Hey YouTube. So, thought I do a video today. I got some more emails from the federal government's office to some questions I asked. So in the end, they did receive only 213 comments from the general public and none from bike manufacturers about the proposed rules. There's a few people that seen the proposed rules sooner than I did that did videos that had no impact on what the number of comments. It's like people's like, I'll talk about it on YouTube, but they did want to go and talk to the government about why they didn't think the standards needed to be changed or why they should be changed. There's been more concerned about limiting e-bikes than there was people thinking that it was a good thing. There's a lot of people that are just saying they don't think e-bikes belong on the road, on trails at all. They belong on the road and should be ridden anywhere but the trail system, whether that would be sidewalks, rails to trails, wherever you ride your bikes. The fact of the matter is, the government, the CPSC has control over low-speed e-bikes, and they defined low-speed e-bikes as anything that can go up to 20 miles an hour with a 170-pound rider and 750 watts, so 1 horsepower. Any bike that's outside those is not considered a low-speed e-bike, is considered something else. And here's the gray areas where the government, the Department of Transportation, controls those bikes that are not considered low-speed e-bikes, and at this point they haven't determined anything. So you see people out on e-bikes doing, as a matter of fact, I seen a video today that was completely, I'm thinking, why didn't he get pulled over? There was a line of traffic and there was a police car, city cop, in the line waiting for the light to turn, and this guy on an e-bike goes zipping by him, and he was showing his speedometer going 37 miles an hour. I didn't know what the speed limit on that roadway is, but I'm pretty sure the cop should have pulled him over. So you guys don't understand that the government has gotten wise to YouTube. They had people in different departments use YouTube to prosecute people and find people doing things that is against the law. The old thing where you watch these automotive channels and they're saying we're in Mexico when they're going over the speed limit. Well, they're getting wise. They're catching up, and they're using YouTube as a method to prove that e-bikes are not being ridden responsibly. And they put this stuff on the channel because they want people to watch their channel. Like me, I want people to watch my channel. I tried to ride responsible. I took most of the ride videos that I had on my YouTube channel off, but not because I was doing something wrong. It's just because it's just me riding a bike. It doesn't really show anything. So they're not helping anything by showing these videos where they're doing things that might be considered illegal or not safe. So there's enough proof out there already. The government can make any cases want for what they want to do to e-bikes. So that being said, they are still working on the deal. They actually are looking for experts now in the e-bike field to come forward and help them develop a panel where they can talk about what rules. They haven't reached out to anybody that I know yet, but they are going to reach out and form a panel to help decide where the industry is going to go and how they're going to make it safer. So, need to write Jerry Moran. He's the senator in charge of the Consumer Protection and Safety Commission. You need to write him. He's in the oversight committee for that. And another one. And the guy that's in charge of the agency. Those people will listen to you hopefully and come up with. I've already written them both, and I've written the staff person about that, and they're saying the rules are. It's going to take them at least 6 months to come up with the rules. So you're not going to know any much more about it for probably another 4 months. They closed comments on May 14th, and they're now in the phase of figuring out who's going to help them decide what rules need to be made. And I'll say this again, their main focus is on safety. If you read the whole proposal, you would know that they highlighted that they were more concerned about the accidents and the deaths caused by equipment failure that shouldn't have happened, and there's no testing standard for low speed e-bikes other than the same standards that are mandated on regular bikes, and is covered under law until about, I don't remember the exact year, but it was in the early 2000s that the government finally came up, 2002, and came up with standards for low speed e-bikes. I don't even remember there being low speed e-bikes in 2002. Well, there was, but they were lead acid batteries. So right now the consumer protections, the CPSC is going to mandate that there's testing requirement for batteries will be in effect before they finally get the rules figured out for e-bikes. It pretty much sounded, I get the gist that they're not going to touch class 1 bikes. If it doesn't have a throttle, they're going to leave it alone. But if it does have a throttle, there's going to be some changes. And a low speed e-bike, a high speed e-bike can be regulated by them, but it still has to be under 750 watts, and there is no limit to how fast you can go pedaling as a class 2. You can go 28, 35, 40 as long as you're pedaling, but throttle only is still limited to 20 miles an hour. Back in the background right there, my electric 1.0 first generation bike will do, with me on it, 25 miles an hour throttle only. Back then, the rules weren't made clear enough to the manufacturers, so they didn't change that until the next generation. Now, Caren's old step through, the first year they made a step through that we sold, that would go 28 too. So it's there was a gray area. They're not going to come after your bikes if you have them. What they're going to go after is future bikes. So you people that have bikes already or that made your bikes in kit form, you're going to be okay. But it may be that the counties, cities, and the state will regulate what they allow on the trails. There's a lot of places they don't allow e-bikes on trails still at all. And most national parks will allow a class 1 e-bike, and in some cases a class 2, depending on where you're riding it. Update on the Tremor, it's 7,500 miles. we towed. I'll turn you around. I'll turn you around here in a little while. Well, I don't need to turn you around. We towed our Can-Am Defender with the aluminum trailer, roughly between 23 and 2,500 pounds, home with this. It didn't squat too much, so it wasn't a suspension issue or anything. And going 60 miles an hour home, the whole way home, we managed 14.77 miles to the gallon. That's actual tested at the pump. I was thinking I wasn't even going to talk about it because I didn't do any video of us driving it, but it did really well. Now, that being said, if you get to the 65 miles an hour, this gas mileage goes down to about 10 miles a gallon because you're above 2,000 RPM and you're pulling, the turbo's pulling up pretty good. So it's pulls the gas mileage way down once that turbo starts pulling up. So it does fine at 60, and I don't typically tow very fast. So now we know that we can tow our UTV and go camping at the same time. And it drives, the Copilot 360 drove flawlessly home. Worked great. So it didn't sway, no sway, trailer sway. I was thinking that I should have moved the UTV a little farther back on the trailer and took some of the tongue weight off, but it drove fine. You really didn't notice it until you had to stop or start that the trailer was even back there. It was shifting into 8th gear, even going down the flats. Whereas my Ram with a Hemi in it, it typically runs in 7th gear, and occasionally shift to 8th gear. But if it's pulling a hill, it'll go 6, clear down to 5, and this only went as low as 6th gear. So this did better pulling it than the Hemi did. So, that being said. So you guys won't be seeing any videos this week unless we do some of us rock hunting. We are going up to the UP for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and coming back Friday. Because of the heat right now here in Belding, it is 92 degrees. It's hot and it's humid. So that being said, the government is in the phase of coming up with a committee to decide what they're going to do with e-bikes, and I'm sure it'll be mostly industry that has their say on how they're regulated. I wouldn't expect to see anything for at least another 4 or 5 months, and I will post any updates that I get from the staffer that I wrote. And I'm going to talk to a buddy I have that works for Trek in Wisconsin and talk to him and see if they've been asked to join a committee to regulate e-bikes. There's going to be some changes, but I've been kind of thinking that it's not going to be as bad as most people think, unless you're riding one of those unregulated bikes, which the Department of Transportation may get involved and decide to make them mopeds, and then you're going to be required to do whatever your state requires. Like in Michigan, for a moped, it has to be licensed. It doesn't have to be insured, and they just give you a sticker to put on the back fender, and you're required to wear a helmet. Yeah. Motorcycle helmet. Now, I'd hate to see a bicycle with a motorcycle helmet. It takes part of your awareness away, but that may be the way they're going to end up, is that if you're riding a bike that's unregulated, that is more than 750 watts, which there is a bunch of them, or goes faster than 20 miles an hour on throttle, you might get pushed into what the Department of Transportation says is a moped. But that isn't written in stone, so don't panic yet. But I hope they come out with some guidance here real soon so I can get it to you folks. Well, that's the update for the week. I hope you enjoy your rides. Get out there and ride your bike. I should be riding mine, but the Trek back there needs some maintenance. I've got a clicking and I've narrowed it down to the motor mount, so I need to tear apart the motor and tighten up the mounts, the mount bolts to the frame, because I'm pretty sure the noise is coming from down there, and it needs new pedals. So I got some work to do. This winter it's going to be upgraded to 11 speed, just because I want a better selection of gears that I ride in. Right now I typically ride 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and not 9th. The 9th is just, if I could pedal it fast enough, it would pedal the bike much faster than 20 miles an hour. But so I'm going to upgrade to a road bike drivetrain. Basically, I don't need a long throw derailleur, so we're going to be going to a short cage derailleur and 11-speed chain, 11-speed cassette. The wheel set's already capable of 11-speed, and buy a new battery. Nothing wrong with this one, but I want a second battery because it's time to get one. So this has rambled on long enough. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. The channel is doing great. We're up to 1,261 subscribers. It's kind of strange. We're getting subscribers from England. My bike riding experience in England was very limited. I think I only rode over there once or twice when I lived in Europe, but most of the time I rode in Germany and Liechtenstein and Holland and Belgium, those countries. But there's a lot of e-bike riders in England that use e-bikes as their primary way of getting back and forth to the store, home, and to work. I'm glad to see that. I hope my English people or British people or the Irish people all watch the channel learn something. If you have any questions about a bike problem in specific, put them in the comments. Thanks. Have a great day.